Hello.
Hi, I'm ringing about your advertisement on sellyourstuff.com. The sofas. Can you tell me if they're still available?
We've sold the small ones, but we've still got 3 available.
Right. OK, can you tell me a bit more about them?
No, of course. What is it that you want to know?
Actually, I'm looking for something to put in the reception of my new office. So, well, I'm not too worried about the colour since we might be changing the covers, but the size is quite important.
No problem. Just give me a second. I've got the details written down somewhere. Yes, so the big one is 230 by 100 centimetres, and the medium ones... just a second. The medium ones are both exactly the same size. They're 178 by 100 centimetres.
Excellent. The medium one should fit perfectly. As I think I've mentioned already, I'm probably going to end up replacing the cover, but is there anything about the frame that I should know about? Are they in good condition?
Yeah, mint actually. Both the cushions and the frame, so I wouldn't worry about the cover. And as you've probably seen in the photos, they're black, and black goes with anything.
Yes, I suppose it does. So, are they both the same price as well?
No, one of them is a recliner, so that's a bit more expensive as a result. It's £250. We paid £900 for it just a couple of years ago, so it's very good value. The other one is the same model, but not a recliner. It's a bit cheaper. That one's £170. They're both in perfectly good condition, and they're both very comfortable and sturdy. I'm sure they'd be an excellent addition to your new office.
That's good to know. Let's see. What else did I want to ask? Would you say they're both 3-seaters?
I'd say that 3 people can sit on it comfortably. If that makes it a 3-seater, then sure.
OK. Can you hang on one moment, please?
No worries.
Yes, darling. OK, if you want... OK, I will. Sorry about that.
No problem.
My husband just told me we might be able to fit the big one in the corner. There's this little cabinet that he wants to get rid of, so we might be able to fit the big one there once it's gone. You said it was 240 by 100 centimetres, right?
No, actually it's 230 by 100 centimetres.
So it would definitely fit there then. Is this one a recliner as well?
Not this one, no, it's just a standard sofa.
Oh, but it costs £500. That's much more expensive than the other ones.
That's true, but that's because it's vintage. It was my grandfather's, and if I'm not mistaken, he bought it sometime in the 40s. We had it refurbished only last year and spent nearly £300. We'd love to keep it, but it would cost a small fortune to ship it to Canada, so that's why we're selling it. I suppose it has sentimental value to me.
I see. It does have a classic look to it, but it's a bit more than what I wanted to pay.
Are you taking one of the medium ones as well? I'm sure we can sort something out.
OK, let's say I take the big one and the medium one as well. Not the recliner, the regular one. Would you be able to do a discount on that?
So the big one is £500 and the medium one... how much did I say it was?
£170.
That's right. So that would be £670 in total. You know what? We're in a bit of a hurry here, and you seem to be a very nice woman.
Thank you.
So if you take the big one, I'll just throw the medium one in for a total of £550. How does that sound?
That's very generous of you. Thank you. I say we have a deal.
Brilliant.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions
So, is it all right if I come round and check them out this evening? Then, if everything looks good, I can take them away with me then and there.
Of course. But may I ask, how do you intend to take them home this evening? They're quite big.
My husband and I run a transport business, so we'll take one of our vans or a small truck. If I'm happy with them, we'll definitely take them with us this evening.
Fantastic.
So if you could just give me the details of where you live.
Sure, I'm Mr. Thornton.
Thornton.
That's right, and the address is Flat 9, 38 Dean Park Road. That's in the town centre, close to the police station.
OK, so I'll be coming from Muscliffe. Can you give me an idea of where you are?
Yes, do you know Madeira Road, the police station?
Yes.
Well, you take that road and you go on past the police station till you get to a roundabout. Take the first exit, then Dean Park Road is the second road to the left.
So past the police station, first exit at the roundabout, first left?
Second left, and I'm at the end of the road. The last building on your left. You can't miss it.
Got it. So I can be there around 8 p.m. if that's not too late.
Can we make it 8:15?
No problem. Oh, and my name's Amanda. Amanda Blake.
Right, I'll see you then, Amanda. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That is the Part 2.
You will hear a talk given by the president of a university drama club. You have 30 seconds to look at questions 11 to 20.
I'd like to thank you all for coming here today. Sorry about the lack of seating, those of you coming in now. If you could just stand by the far wall for today, I'll make sure we have enough chairs for all of you next week. My name is Barry Gordon, and I'm the founder and president of the Drama Club here at Dora Jacobs University. It's just great to see that there are so many people wanting to find out more about our little club. You know, many doubted that this project would ever take off, and today it looks as though we're one of the most popular student clubs in the entire university. I'm immensely proud to be part of it, and I hope you'll all begin to feel the same way in a couple of weeks' time. I'd like to start by talking about joining and membership. All current students are welcome to become members of the Drama Club, and the best part is it's completely free. Well, almost, as we do ask for a small contribution every term, but it's entirely voluntary. You will never, ever be asked to pay a fee to take part in any of our activities. Having said that, you do have to pay an initial £5 charge when you register with us, but that's only to cover the costs of your membership card and welcome pack. You see, everything has to be done outside campus since we are not allowed to use any equipment from the university. So we do have to ask for that initial enrolment fee just to cover our costs. If you are interested in joining our group, and I'm sure you all will be by the end of this evening, you'll need to come to reception between 1 and 5 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions
When you go to the offices to register, there are 4 things you must remember to bring with you. The first thing you'll need is your student card. Without your university student card, we cannot register you as a member of the drama club. Now, I know many of you don't use your student cards and might not even know where they are. So, unfortunately, if that's the case, you'll have to go to the main reception and ask for a new card. I know it's bureaucratic, and I also know there's a system where we could easily check if you're a student or not, but I'm not the one who makes the rules, and rules have to be followed. So, I apologize in advance for that. Secondly, you must bring a passport-size photograph of yourself, obviously, when you come to register. We'll need this for your badge and also for the amazing photographs we post on our website. Yes, we will post your photos on our page, so make sure you look as good as you all look tonight. The third thing you already know, but I have to tell you again, it's in the script, and a good actor always follows the script. Anyway, the third thing is the £5 fee. Last, but by no means least, the most important thing you absolutely must remember to bring along with you: enthusiasm, passion, and love for the theatre. Without these qualities, I can't see a reason why anyone would be interested in joining our group. You'd be better off in the computer club, or with, what do you call them, with all the costumes. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What matters is that now you know what the requirements are. So, now all that's been covered, let's talk about the drama club itself. Perhaps you're wondering what exactly it is that we do here. Are we a group of actors who want to get famous, make a fortune, marry models and move to Los Angeles? The answer is, surprisingly or not, no. We are a diverse group of varying people who want to socialize, meet other students, and above all, have fun. That's why we're here. By joining the group, you will not necessarily be asked to perform on a stage. Now, this is something you can do if you want to, and we will of course offer you help and guidance, but it's not compulsory and it never will be. You'll soon realize that most of your time here will be spent on relaxation exercises, storytelling, improvisation, and group work, as well as many other transferable skills that you will take with you for the rest of your lives. Learning such skills will make a positive difference in whatever it is that you decide to do in your future. Business, arts, law, languages, you name it. It doesn't matter what you're studying for your degree, we're more than likely to have something for you. And this is what we do here. We help people understand people better. And we help you understand yourself better. That's the main goal of this drama club. But obviously, if you want to be famous and move to Hollywood, you're more than welcome here. We wouldn't mind the recognition. Maybe get some sponsors. Who knows? Anyway, let me show you our facilities. If you would just follow me, I can show you this.
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3. Part 3.
You will hear a radio show discussion about global warming. You have 30 seconds to look at questions 21 to 30.
Good morning and welcome back to Mother Nature Radio Show. I'm your host, John Gibbs, and I have got a great show for you today. Those of you who caught the first half have already heard Dr. Popov's fascinating insights on the technological advances which can help us to prevent CO2 emissions. And we've had some really great call-ins and messages about that already. Keep them coming. Now, my guest is Professor Kirsch, a global warming specialist, who is here to explain to us how the greenhouse effect works and how it is responsible for the soaring temperatures experienced not only here in Australia, but all over the world this year. Professor Kirsch, welcome. I have to say it's an honor to have you as a guest on our show.
In all honesty, the pleasure is most definitely mine. I'm an avid listener to the show, and I must admit I was terribly excited and not a little nervous when your team contacted me. It's a real honor to actually be on the show myself, particularly in the same week as the eminent Dr. Popoff.
It's always good to know that important people in the field like yourself enjoy our show. It must mean we're doing something right. Anyway, welcome once again, and let's start trying to tackle these big questions. What is the greenhouse effect, and how is it connected to global warming?
Well, for those listeners less familiar with the phenomenon, the greenhouse effect is the process by which radiation within our planet's atmosphere warms the planet's surface to a temperature above what it would be without the surrounding atmosphere. Simply put, greenhouse gases in the atmosphere radiate energy in all directions. Some of this radiation is directed towards the surface, warming it. The amount of radiation will directly depend on the amount of greenhouse gases that the atmosphere contains. Without the greenhouse effect, the average temperature would be about minus 18 degrees Celsius, rather than the present average of 15 degrees Celsius. But the most important thing to understand is that the greenhouse effect is not actually caused by any human action or interference. It's a natural process which makes the Earth habitable. Without it, temperatures would be too cold for most life forms to survive.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions
Okay, that makes sense. So why is it then that people blame the greenhouse effect for global warming? If you do an internet search on the greenhouse effect, you get all these images of polluted cities, smog, and people wearing masks. So how exactly has a natural process that is supposed to make our planet habitable become such a vilified monster?
The answer is very simple. We are the monsters, not the greenhouse effect. Again, I'll explain. On Earth, the atmosphere is primarily warmed by absorption of infrared thermal radiation from the surface, which is heated by solar radiation from the sun. Greenhouse gases in the atmosphere radiate this energy, some of which is directed to the surface and lower atmosphere. The mechanism that produces this difference between the actual surface temperature and the effective temperature is due to the atmosphere, and it is known as the greenhouse effect, which, as we have already seen, is critical to supporting life. The primary greenhouse gases in Earth's atmosphere are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and ozone. Yes, John, carbon dioxide. Now, the problem, or the monster, as you put it, is this. Human activities, such as the burning of fossil fuels and the clearing of forests, have intensified the natural greenhouse effect, and that is what causes global warming. By raising the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, we are raising the amount of energy which is radiated by the atmosphere.
So basically what you're saying is that the more carbon dioxide we pump into the atmosphere, the more energy it radiates and the hotter the Earth gets.
And the further the ice caps in the Arctic melt. Yes, it's a scary thought, but as Popov said earlier, we already know the steps we need to be taking to slow this process. Greener technology can drastically reduce our carbon footprint. However, it will take the collaboration of the entire world. Everybody needs to commit to protecting our planet.
Well, as difficult as that will be, it's something of a relief to know that we still have a chance at preserving our current atmospheric conditions.
A fairly good chance, I would say. We just have to do the right thing. And for you listeners, the right thing starts at home with more efficient appliances and light. The right thing starts at home with more efficient appliances and lights, greener energy providers, and so on. We'll start to see improvement when individuals make the effort to live greener lives.
Absolutely. It's been an immense pleasure to have you here, Professor Kirsch. Thank you for that brief explanation.
My pleasure.
We're going to have a short break now, then we're going to go to the phones and answer some of your questions.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
Part 4.
You will hear a sociology lecture about the development of family structures. You have 30 seconds to look at questions 31 to 40.
Clan, tribe, family. Whatever you call it, it's the most ancient and basic building block of society. Our family, to a large extent, defines who we are. When we were children, it was our family that shaped us into the people we are now. We get our values from our family. We learn how to live with others through our family. We learn humour, intellect, sports, the fundamentals of life through our family interactions. I'd like to thank you all for joining me for this discussion about families. This morning, I'll be outlining how family structure has changed in the US over the last 100 years. Today's topic will be of particular interest to those of you who want to understand the hows and whys of the societies we live in around the world today. In this talk, I'll introduce the 3 main issues we'll be discussing throughout the day. The first is answering the question, what exactly is a family? Then we'll ask ourselves how and why families have changed over time. And finally, we'll discuss why this matters, what the significance of different family structures is, and what those differences and developments can tell us about the world. Before I start, I would like to thank Professor Garcia and New Mexico University for all the support they have provided during the past 18 months. I would not have been able to carry out this important research if it weren't for their know-how and willingness to make this a successful project, a project that can help us understand many of the socio-economic problems we face today. So, thank you, Professor Garcia, and all the staff at New Mexico University for making today possible. So, let us begin by analysing what a family consists of. Suppose an alien came to you and asked you the following question. What is a family? How would you answer that? According to the US Census Bureau, a family is a group of 2 or more people who reside together and who are related by birth, marriage, or adoption. It is a very straightforward definition that most of us would agree with on the face of it. But if we take a closer look and think about the world around us, we may decide it needs to be adjusted. Where do married couples who live in different places fit in? What about divorced parents? And the aunts and uncles of the world who look after their nieces and nephews while their parents are at work? Grandparents, step-parents, half-brothers and sisters, even godparents. Where do they all fit in? Are they not family? I believe that using the US Census Bureau's definition of family is no longer an appropriate way to examine a family. In many ancient civilizations, all of the people who contributed in some way to the upkeep of the household and the well-being of the individual members of the house were considered family. I believe this is a much clearer definition of family, and it's the definition I'll be using when I use the term family throughout this discussion. The first question we aimed to answer with this research project was how families changed over time and why. What is the true family structure? In Western Europe, the nuclear or immediate family, which consists of biological parents residing together with their children, was the norm in the Middle Ages. However, at the same time, Eastern Europeans had 2 or 3 generations living together as one family in the same household. These are 2 parts of the same continent that had extremely different concepts or ideas of what a family structure should be. It can easily be said, and proved with all the data you will see later on, that this is due to different socio-economic realities. Things are not so different here in the US. The United States has also seen numerous types of family structures throughout its brief history. The typical family forms we see today in the US are actually the result of an evolutionary process that began with the changes in marriage nearly 300 years ago. For many in the Western world, it was not until the mid-18th century that the idea of free choice and marriage for love became a realistic option. Even then, it was certainly not the rule, but merely a notion that was beginning to be considered socially acceptable. Before this point, marriage had not typically been based on love. During the Stone Age, people got married to improve the economic situation of their clans or tribes. In the Middle Ages, marriage was used as an economic and political tool to satisfy the needs or desires of a particular extended family. Over time, marriage evolved into a union based on love. Many other economic and cultural developments in Western society would also mould the structure of the American family. The 19th century unquestioningly upheld the idea of men as breadwinners and women as housewives. But how many families could achieve that? With very few jobs paying high wages that could actually support a single-earner family, this ideal was often seen as something that belonged only to the wealthy. And as a consequence, it turned into a goal or an ideal for the struggling lower classes, something to be achieved. Then, suddenly, World War II was over, the economy grew, and the American dream was born. Couples married young, remained married, had a lot of kids. For the most part, the husband would provide, and the wife would look after the house and the children. However, in many countries during the war, while men had joined the army and fought overseas, women at home had stepped up and started working in their absence. When the war was over and the men returned, many women decided they would continue to work and would contribute to the family in a more financial rather than homemaking sense. From the early 70s onwards, the divorce rate began to increase. As a result, the number of single-parent families became higher than ever, and people in their early 20s decided not to marry as young as their parents had. They weren't ready to settle down. They wanted to enjoy their lives a bit more before the big commitment. A large contributing factor to this was women's increasing access to education, birth control, and paid work. This overview should give you an idea of the ways in which the family unit has adapted to economic and political changes in the American society, and we don't expect the changes to stop anytime soon. Let's address the final question for this introduction. Why does it all matter? Why do these changes matter? Why do families matter? The answer is quite simple. Family structures matter because they help us understand who we are as a nation. Different family forms are a reflection of different groups of people. Not all societies worldwide participate in each family type. The same can be said about socioeconomic factors. Each type of family structure, married with kids, single parents, divorced parents. New research suggests that children raised by only one of their parents are more likely to become a single parent themselves, and may also have greater difficulty finding financial and emotional stability in adulthood. Some people say that the eyes are the windows to the soul. Well, I say that family structures are the window to a society. It can show us who we are, where we come from, and where we're going.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.